It is over for Rachel Zegler. Her career is done. She will be lucky if she makes it on a direct-to-DVD Steven Seagal movie at this point.
The controversies surrounding Disney's Snow White remake show that we are still in the thick of the culture wars. Oh, have we been following the Snow White?
Actually, the first time hearing of this.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you.
Well,
It's happening, and not the way Disney wanted. Theater chains all over the country are quietly pulling the Snow White remake from their schedules, with entire showtimes vanishing like a magic trick gone wrong. Some theaters say it's better to cut losses early, thanks to embarrassingly low attendance and confused feedback from viewers who walked out shaking their heads. Independent shops are doing the same, removing Snow White merchandise, slashing prices, or refusing to stock it altogether.
I mean, they're projected to lose between $200 and $400 million on this.
It's over. It's a wrap. Because her entire career rested on this Snow White movie being a success, and it ain't looking good.
Online, people are going hard. They're posting pictures of empty seats and joking about the movie with captions like 7 dwarfs, 4 dwarf controller, basically rejecting the whole thing. Across forums and comment sections, fans are calling this more than a misfire. They say it's a full-on betrayal of everything Disney used to stand for. This isn't just a flop at the box office, it's a cultural meltdown. A fairy tale gone off the rails. It's not just falling short, it's smashing face first onto Hollywood's do not repeat list. Quick pause, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. You know the drill. Now back to the drama.
Look at this, 46%. That's horrible. That's a disaster, bro. That ain't good. You might as well just, you know, I typically say just release this garbage on Disney Plus, but nah. I think they should just just not even, just forget this. Just try to erase this movie from existence completely at this point.
And right at the messy, chaotic center is Rachel Zegler, once dubbed a rising star, now labeled, fairly or not, as the face of Disney's biggest disaster in decades. Cautionary tale happening in real time.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that she's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. I am.
I don't want to gag myself on the air, so I won't do that. You know what bothers me more than anything about this? These stories are invented by women.
And her skin has grown bundled and dramatically dresses slowly. Theaters really pulled the movie. This is where things get even more tangled. Disney sank over $250 million into this project. Yeah, that's $250 million. All to remake a story that didn't just entertain generations, it built the Disney empire. Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs wasn't some random cartoon. It was Walt's dream made real, the very first full-length animated feature in history. It launched an entire legacy. Naturally, fans expected magic. What they got instead was a politically tweaked Frankenstein of a remake.
Housewives throughout Germany made up these stories, and then the Brothers Grimm went around and collected them and found them. These are the creations of women, and they spoke into the minds of children, and they weren't forcing children to be anything. They were talking about things that children already know are there, like witches and evil and fear and true love. They weren't creating girls who wanted to fall in love. Girls want to fall in love. It's part of the beauty of life.
Rather than honoring the 1937 classic that turned Walt into a legend, they ripped it apart. Not quietly either. No dwarfs, no prince, no dreamy love story. Just a reworked plot wrapped in heavy CGI, awkward messaging, and empowerment slogans that felt more like a lecture than a fairy tale. The magic? Gone. Placed by a checklist of modern points. The 7 Dwarfs, iconic, beloved, were scrapped for a random bunch of magical forest creatures. Why? Supposedly to avoid offending anyone. But they ended up offending everyone. Fantasy fans, the dwarf acting community, people called it token inclusivity.
and then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive. You'd think the most progressive thing would be get people jobs, and dwarves want to work.
Like
And honest,
a golden employment opportunity for dwarves.
there's not that many scripts that come down the pike
No, only 7 of them.
that has, and there's 7 dwarf jobs here. But because I think it was Peter Dinklage said this is, this is not right. This is demeaning. And they were like, what? We just want to work. We're dwarves.
They also cut Prince Charming because of consent issues, re-spinning the plot for a modern audience. Disney said the original kiss was outdated. Fans said the rewrite felt forced. And Snow White? She wasn't the kind, animal-loving dreamer anymore. She became a no-nonsense modern heroine who doesn't need a man, doesn't want a man, and seems annoyed that she's even in a fairy tale at all. She was marketed as a revolutionary figure. No singing with birds, no wishing at a well, just calling out patriarchy and demanding pay for every hour in costume. Sure, it sounds empowering, but to the core audience Disney depends on, it felt like they replaced the soul of the story with corporate-approved bullet points. The beloved legacy got gutted, and it showed. Audiences smelled the marketing spin a mile away, and that sincerity Disney used to have? The missing in action.
Rachel Zegler spent her energy, her time, leading up to the release of this Snow White movie, shitting on the original, right? And not to mention that the people that voted for Trump tend to be people that appreciate more wholesome values, traditional values, people that tend to have kids, right? Because that other side, right? The woke weirdos, the lizards, these people, they don't believe in having kids.
Then came the interviews that changed everything. Rachel Zegler was set to become Disney's next big name, fresh off her success in West Side Story. Young, talented, with singing chops, she basically hit the Hollywood jackpot by scoring Snow White. But in promo interviews, it all went downhill faster than Disney execs could do damage control. Instead of honoring the classic, she trashed it. She called the prince a stalker, implied the romantic storyline was problematic, and wrote off the original film as irrelevant today. Her tone? Chilly, dismissive, almost smug, especially for someone stepping into one of the most treasured roles ever. Then came the quote that spread like wildfire.
I think Rachel Zegler probably wants this too. I think Rachel Zegler, she probably wants people to forget about this movie. She wants people to forget this entire experience. She would probably appreciate Disney just making this movie go away.
She said she should be paid for every hour she wore the Snow White dress, during filming, appearances, even live streams. That clip went viral, people memed it to infinity. Critics blasted her as entitled. Fans called her ungrateful. The fence-sitters started seeing her as the villain. The outraged chorus kept asking, "If you hate this role so much, why take it?" Suddenly, YouTube and social media lit up with frame-by-frame dissections of her interviews. Comparisons were made to past Disney princesses who embraced the role with class. Rachel, on the other hand, looked like she was doing the bare minimum and rolling her eyes at the same time. And it didn't help that she refused to walk it back. No apology, no clarification. She just doubled down, liking tweets that defended her, retweeting praise for her boldness, and pushing herself even further from the core fan base. Behind the scenes, word was that Disney realized they might have picked the wrong horse. Hashtags calling for a boycott blew up. Fans saw a star who treated a classic fairy tale like a chore, a paycheck with none of the heart. Once social media labeled her the story's villain, the narrative was locked in. But that was only the beginning. Snow White's IMDb rating tanked to a brutal 1.6 out of 10. That's not just bad, it's a cinematic faceplant, one of the lowest for any major Disney release. Cue the memes. People posted side-by-sides comparing Snow White to glitchy student film projects. A viral tweet said it looked like a high school play directed by ChatGPT after a caffeine crash. Others were meaner. Some joked it was like a dream conjured up by a bored TikTok algorithm. Critics weighed in, calling it boring, lifeless, a weird cocktail of preachiness and zero spark. Nobody could figure out who it was supposed to be for. Kids? Too dull. Adults? Too luxury. Loyal Disney fans? Totally insulted. Visually, folks said it looked like a tossed-out Netflix filter over cheap Halloween lighting. Then came the merchandise meltdown. Major retailers reportedly started yanking Snow White stuff off the shelves. Toys, costumes, books, gone or marked down 80%. Kids weren't asking for it, parents weren't buying it, collectors wanted none of it. The brand appeal crashed. Rumors flew. Was the movie banned? Not officially. Disney didn't pull it. But if theaters are dropping shows, stores are clearing stock, and fans are saying no thanks, does it even matter? Still a nationwide rejection. And that's a much bigger problem. Inside Disney, the chaos got real. Early test screenings apparently sounded the alarm. People didn't like it, weren't connecting. The feedback spelled confusion, discomfort, and disappointment. But the studio plowed ahead, banking on marketing to fix everything. Once the negative buzz exploded, the PR team was in panic mode. There are rumors of late-night shifts aimed at spinning the narrative before it spiraled any further. Bob Iger? Reportedly fuming. Some say he felt blindsided by how massive the backlash was. Emergency meetings were held behind locked doors, with everybody scrambling to figure out how to stop the bleeding. Higher-ups started quietly updating their resumes, certain this wasn't just a fail, it could shake up the entire hierarchy. One insider said, people knew heads would roll. Nobody wanted to be caught holding the script when the music stopped. Morale tanked. Employees started calling the project Snow Wrong, a nickname that spread across departments like wildfire. Captured the frustration that leadership had been warned by test screenings, yet they pressed on, sure that a splashy trailer and social media hype would save the day. Now they're dealing with a controlled fire that's become a roaring blaze. And at the center of it, Rachel Zegler, still unapologetic, still defiant, still doubling down. She wasn't just a cast member anymore, she was the lightning rod for the entire meltdown. This wasn't just a box office disappointment, it was a wake-up call about Hollywood's reboot craze, Disney's messaging-first approach, and a growing fan fatigue over preachy remakes. Both sides of the political aisle trashed the film. Some called it woke nonsense, others slammed it as empty corporate feminism. Whichever way you slice it, it was bad. Everyone agreed. It wasn't entertainment, it was a message machine disguised as a movie. And in the eye of the storm, Rachel kept trending for all the wrong reasons. Now it gets personal. Rumor says Rachel was actually shaken up behind closed doors. Publicly, though, she kept firing back. She labeled critics as outdated, praised anyone who defended her, and stayed silent when others begged her to at least say sorry. Some insiders claim Disney told her to cool it, that publicists tried reining her in. Others whispered she was emotionally in over her head, stuck in a media mess she couldn't handle. Yet she didn't retreat, she kept talking. And every time she did, it just got worse. So where do we go from here? Can Disney bounce back? Will Rachel get another shot in Hollywood? No one knows. Theaters keep dropping showtimes, Disney's losses keep climbing, and fans are walking away, not just from this movie but from the brand itself. What was once magical now feels like a giant marketing scheme. For Rachel, this is a crossroads. She might stage a comeback or fade into a cautionary footnote. But this Snow White fiasco will haunt both her and Disney for a good long while. It was meant to celebrate a legacy. Instead, it became a highlight reel of everything not to do. Don't insult your audience. Don't ignore test screenings. And do not dismantle the very foundation that built your empire. Once you lose fan trust, no amount of sparkly effects can get it back. And if you think this drama's over, guess again. There are whispers about deleted scenes, PR nightmares, and legal teams circling. This isn't just a flop, it's a full-blown Hollywood horror show, and we're seeing it live. So smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you stunned by how epic this failure was, or did you see it coming from the very first teaser? Either way, this fairy tale did not end happily ever after. Stick with us for every new plot twist, because the next scandal might be even bigger,